President-elect Donald Trump is threatening the European Union with tariffs if member countries don't buy more American oil and gas. In a Truth Social post, Trump saying if the EU does not make up its deficit with the United States, quote, it's tariffs all the way. Joining us now is Will Kennedy, Bloomberg Senior Executive Editor for Energy and Commodities. So it begins. Will, how likely is it that those tariffs come, given that Ursula von der Leyen has already kind of made the opening offer on buying natural gas? Is this a kind of just saber rattling at this point?
I think Trump's pushing at a pretty open door here. Europe is buying a lot more oil and gas than it ever has done before. If we look at oil, we're up to 2 million barrels a day, 23% more than last year. If we look at gas, clearly the European economy can only function because it's replaced most of the gas it used to buy from Russia from the United States. I think that European officials have said that they would like to replace the remaining sliver of Russian gas, which is both LNG and this pipeline gas for Ukraine, which we think is likely to stop at the end of the year. I think officials would like to replace that probably with imported gas, mostly US, and the US is building more gas export plants. So on the gas side, I think clearly it could happen anyway, and Trump is sort of doing his thing.
This feels very transactional. Hasn't the problem been that actually the Biden administration has made it harder for us to buy gas out of the Americas? Like the messaging coming out of the Biden administration has been a little bit more difficult in terms of the narrative.
Well, they had put a moratorium on building new gas plants, but that hadn't impacted any gas exports now or in the next couple of years. Clearly, on a policy, from a policy perspective, the Biden administration in the EU talked a lot more about decarbonisation and perhaps not using as much gas. That talk is all going to go out the window. And honestly, when you look at what's going on in the German economy and the angst about energy prices in Europe, I think they're going to be pretty willing to buy what is, in a global context, good value energy from the US. So I think, Trump's putting himself in a place where he can almost make his point and declare victory.
There you are. Well, yes, sometimes we need some quick wins, don't we? What about the price of oil right now, Will, as we head towards the end of the year? 72.47 on Brent. I mean, drill, baby, drill has been a mantra. He seems to be happy to sell a lot more energy products to Europe. I wonder how low he's prepared to push prices.
I think he wants low prices. Clearly, in US politics, the price of gas, what people pay at the pump, is an enormously prominent, and it's really seen by a lot of American consumers as a proxy for inflation. So he won't want to see that rise. There is a little bit of gloom about the oil market next year, partly because US production will continue to rise, although how much Trump can actually make a difference, I think, is a moot point. Okay. But there are lots of things we don't know yet. We don't know what's going to happen to Iran, and we don't know what's going to happen to the Chinese economy.